Okay. Good day, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for joining the BuyRent Kenya and Building in Kenya's first webinar as part of our series. Thank you very much for being here. It looks like my camera wasn't open. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here as we talk about the real estate sector, and it is changing. The real estate sector is changing. So we want to just take a moment and just acknowledge that this is in partnership with, this is Building in Kenya in partnership with BuyRent Kenya, the leading real estate portal here in Kenya, and then Building in Kenya, the first real estate developers toolkit. And this is part of our series when we talk about the real estate sector is changing. Are you changing? Are you ready for that change? Okay, are you changing and are you ready for that change? And so we are happy to have here our illustrious panel that we can talk about. The first part about it, we thought about, if we are, what does business look like newly in this era of COVID and in the era of a pandemic? Are you ready to move your real estate business to online and for it to be virtual? So that's a critical part here that we are finding ourselves in. How do we retool ourselves? How do we retool our businesses? How do we upskill ourselves? How do we transform the way that we've been doing business inside of the new modes and the new methods that business is going to be conducted? So we invite you to not just have this webinar be like you're participating in or watching a TV show. That, I know all of us have been in so many Zoom calls and we might be at this point zoomed out. This is not a Zoom call. We're happy to be using this new technology of webinar jam, but you may be tuned out in terms of, I've attended so many of these. So we're asking you to have this webinar be something that is valuable, something that is critical for you and your business, and that you walk away from here with a new spring in your step, a new excitement about what's ahead of us inside of our sector, inside of you and your profession, and you as a professional, and what's the future, and what all do we need to do. So let me see here. Let's see here. Sorry, someone is, okay. All right, great. Okay, so let's see here. We are about to go ahead and get started. So I want to introduce our panelists. We have an illustrious panel here, as I mentioned. We have a panel that is here to talk to us about their different perspectives about this moving our business online and moving, your real estate professional services to a place of a new way of doing business. Actually, it's not a new way of doing business. Let me correct that. This incorporation of technology and the innovations that are available out there in the real estate sector has been in discussion and has been utilized by several markets around the world. This is really thrusting and throwing the Kenyan professionals and the Kenyan market into these waters. And so we're excited that we can now jump in here with a sense of purpose and a sense of now is the time. So let me turn on this presentation here, and so that you can see who we have with us. All righty. Okay, so let me go ahead and start introducing our panel. I can see that the internet is starting to come in. Okay, so our panel here we have with us today, so first with us we have Stephen Omengo. Stephen Omengo, if you would please show yourself, reveal yourself with your camera. Take a moment to do that.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, my name is Stephen Omengo. I'm a director at Tysons Limited. Professionally, I'm a registered estate agent. I'm also a registered valuer. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Stephen. And then we have Lizzie, who is the CEO of BuyRent Kenya. Lizzie, if you would just say hello and introduce yourself a little bit.
Yes, thank you, Robyn. Thank you, Stephen. Welcome, everybody. I'm the CEO for BuyRent Kenya, the leading property platform in Nairobi, Kenya, and very excited to host our first webinar and looking forward to introducing more of the series to you and reaching out. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. And then Jevan Otieno, who is the founder of PropTech here in Kenya. Jevan, would you... Yes, and say hello.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Welcome, everyone. I am Jevan Otieno, founder of PropTech Kenya, the first ever PropTech community in Kenya. So what is PropTech? PropTech is basically property technology. So our main aim is just to create the ecosystem where innovation in terms of technology can thrive in the real estate sector. But professionally, I'm a property valuer. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have wonderful. So we have you and Stephen are both property valuers. That's great. Thank you very much. And as we know, Lizzie is here with us as the leader of building in BuyRent Kenya. So let's jump right in. So attendees, thank you again so much for being with us. We want to take a pulse. We want to check in with the attendees that are here with us, and we want to give you an opportunity to chime in. Wonderful. Thank you very much for being with you, all of us. Glad to have you here. I can see you've already started adding some chats. It's great to have you all here with us. We want to give you a chance to chime in and jump straight in. We're not on this webinar, if you will, to sit and be the edicts and roll out edicts. We want this to be a collaborative discussion, if you will, that we can learn together. We can hear what some of the challenges are, what the opportunities are. But one of the things I hope you take away from this, all of us, is that maybe two things. Never waste a crisis. Never waste a good crisis. That's one thing. And then the other one is that where is the real challenge in the adjustment? So maybe by the end of this, you'll kind of maybe do some soul searching. Where is the real, Jevan's already shaking his head. He knows where that may be going. Where is the real challenge here to this adjustment? You may have thought it's out there. Oh, it's those things and this, that, and the other. Those people are holding me back. That. Hopefully by the end of this call, you really can start to see where that holding back might be and where it might lie and where there is to be making those adjustments. So let's first get up the first poll. So the first poll, I'm trusting that you can see this poll that we have up here. I think it may be at the bottom of your screen. If you can look for it, we have a poll question we're asking you. How confident are you in adapting technology in your real estate business? How confident are you in adapting this? So if you can look where that poll is there down at the bottom and chime in and let us know. I have some concerns. I have concerns about doing that, making those adoptions, or hey, I'm very confident, I'm in it, and I'm looking for more ways to do this. If you could take a moment and add in at the bottom your comments. Let's see, are they? Anyone's having trouble with that chat? I mean, with that entering that poll, just let us know in the chat if anyone's having trouble with that. Okay, sorry about that interruption. This is the challenges with technology, isn't it? In real time. Okay, so panelists. So I'm going to invite you to. I'm going to invite you to also respond to that question in real time. What have been your observations about people's in the sectors ease of adjustment to? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I can.
What has been your observation of the sector, or people in those sectors' ease of adapting and incorporating technology? Let me start with Lizzie, because she's also seeing it from the front hand. Lizzie, maybe you can just give us a comment on that.
Sure, thanks, Robyn. So today we've witnessed how technology has changed and is changing the way most businesses transacted, as you said earlier. And no doubt the real estate sector has benefited from the improved efficiencies. If you remember the days prior to online listings and virtual tours and e-signing, you understand just how much things have changed. You also understand the move towards mobile has really emphasized and the shift from efficiency to another dimension altogether. So not only are paperless transactions the norm, but more mobile-centric technology transforming the whole landscape. And this, BuyRent Kenya in a particular way, has pivoted to being mobile first and mobile-centric first. Access to information, customer expectations, client experience and service is very different to the way it was 5 years ago. And there's so many more changes to come. You've also seen recently that the Ministry of Lands is finding itself under pressure to scale up e-transactions, and customers know the consequences of unavoidable external influences being shut off. So therefore, they fast-track the necessary enabling of this legislation. So all professionals in planning, surveying, conveyancing are feeling the pressure to tweak their business models too.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Stephen, let me ask you also. You're head of agency. You're running a real estate firm. Tyson is a very grounded and has a long presence here in the market. What are you finding? This is just for the your initial comments. What are you finding is the biggest challenge that agents, if you will, are finding to adjusting to a cloud-based business, perhaps, or the injection of the technology innovation for them being successful in your businesses? What are you finding are the challenges?
Thank you so much, Robyn. Maybe just to give a clear picture, real estate is one of the industries that you can't operate in without the issue of understanding technology. Technology basically is the driver when it comes to real estate, because real estate is just about communication, getting information from one point to the other. You're connecting people here and there. So without a proper way of communicating, it becomes quite difficult. So just to tell you the members this, is that already technology has been adopted in real estate. The only difference is to what extent. Yeah. We're already applying the basic tools, the basic software, the basic office suites. We're already operating on emails. Now there is WhatsApp and so on. So the fact is that you cannot run away from technology, because what happens is that most of the clients, they actually want real-time communication. It is no longer luxury to wait and read your emails in the office. You have to respond to those ones right away. So the main challenge when it comes to the adoption of technology are just the cost limitations, because you realize that some of these softwares, some of them are expensive, some of them are free, yeah, and some of them are moderately, expensive. So the fact that you cannot access this because of cost, then it becomes an issue. But then the other element, yeah, is that technology also requires you to invest in knowledge. So there is also the lack of knowledge amongst particularly quite a number of real estate agents, yeah, and that is basically a handicap when it comes to the adoption of technology.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you. Jevan or Stanley, inside of, so what we've been talking about here is we've been talking about technology and innovation in the real estate sector, but this really does have a name for all of this. Just like fintech, the financial sector, ed tech, health tech, there actually is a whole cadre of technology that is completely being built around and tooled for the utilization in the built environment in the real estate sector. Stanley, maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of the tools that you see that people are consistently using in this market, and maybe some tools that people have not taken up fully that could be to our advantage, and perhaps maybe why is that?
Thank you. So we all know what PropTech is. PropTech is property technology. But then we're seeing that our market hasn't really shifted to that position where we are dependent in technology to carry out our activities. But the thing is, we get that, me personally, I feel like the data infrastructure hasn't still been yet been put. I think you'll find that there are different companies who are rolling out products that are tech based, but then you look at it as it's not really putting out it's not really coming out clearly where the maximum productivity is actually achieved, because there isn't much data infrastructure. So what I've seen being used mostly in our market, one I can point out from BuyRent Kenya, the listing portals, in which has been clearly adopted, but then there is more into just listing properties. There's aspects of virtual tours, there's aspects of AI, in which it hasn't been fully incorporated, because you get the market hasn't fully advanced or matured in a structured point of view where you can actually adopt this new advanced technologies. And that's where our market should be looking into, incorporating artificial intelligence, IoT products, that is Internet of Things, where we can automate our building system so that we can actually be able to function in a much efficient manner. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Let's see here. I used to own a real estate firm in two different ways, as an international franchise and my own also. And both of them, it was my inspiration of driving us to doing business in new ways. And just like Stanley mentioned, how are we doing virtual tours? how are we, and in a few moments, I'm going to invite Lizzie to talk to us about how are we managing our client base and our data, our customer interactions with people, such that I don't have to remember when I need to send an email to a client. I don't have to remember when I need to do a follow-up or get them the information they requested. With technology and automation, there is a way to set a lot of this stuff up that you can begin to function on the things that sell the business, right? There's the things to do that sell the business, and then there's things to do to grow the business. And I think some of us as in the real estate business, we need to be two-minded, if you will. One of the great books called E-Myth that I love, E-Myth, they help to separate the difference about our business and as business people. And if you're a real estate agent or a developer, you are a business entity, if you will. And so what you have to be two-minded about is, one, there is the operations of the business, and then there is the business itself. What's my product? What's my service? And both of those need to have an integrated way of operating with each other. But where do you put your time on each of them, and how do you be more efficient at both? So, Lizzie, maybe I can invite you to come in. What do you see in terms? Before you do that, Lizzie, if I can invite people, I just want to share a little bit about what the response has been on that first poll. So we have been hovering around 30% of people here, of almost 90 people, say they have concerns about adopting technology. Okay. So, and then about 70% say they're confident. So then that's the reality out there in our sector. And so maybe we can, Lizzie, as you come in and you talk about, I know you have these tools that are available to people. What does BuyRent Kenya do to ease people's concerns with the adoption of technology? And then to everybody, one second, I'm going to open up the next poll and you can start to chime in. Is what would you like more guidance on? So the poll is open, and so Lizzie, you can just speak to my question, but I'm telling people that
sure.
Next question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So at BuyRent Kenya, we have two technology tools that we use. The first being an inbuilt CRM system, or what we call a customer relation management system, that allows agents already to, be able to manage their listings, manage their leads, and really send out emails, reminders. It does everything for you. So it's really the adoption of how does this work, and it's a very, very simple process. And now is more the time than ever to get online with us, because you don't have to invest this technology. It comes with the package you buy. It is for free. So addressing the CRM need, we already have the software tool. The other aspect is we have a net promoter score. It's a basic survey that we have, first of all, for the front end users of the site, so we understand what are the users looking in particularly. What are they looking at in terms of property pricing, types of property, category of properties? What are their pain points? How can we address this within the sector? We also have another NPS score that we run for our agents. So we also understand what is the agent's experience online with us, and how best can we improve that. And all of this is done through technology, using various software tools. We have AI intelligence that actually help us with what kind of audience we need to redirect particular listings to, all kinds of online marketing channels that we have that provide. So all this data, and we collect all this business intelligence data, and we can actually provide it for both the user as well as for our property agents and developers to actually grow their business and take them to the next level.
Okay, wonderful. Let me see here, Stephen. You have agents that you work with, I presume, or people that are in the market interacting with customers and end users. you're in between the people that may have built a product, and then you have people that maybe are doing the valuations and they are interacting with end users and customers. What kind of advice or training or coaching tips do you give people on both sides about the adoption of these tools? What kind of, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Robyn. Basically, I will not basically talk about the kind of training that we offer, but I will talk about what we offer and how we run the business. And all our customers, actually, when they come on board, that is the time that we interact with them, and then we're able to move along with them. So in terms of business, if you look at real estate business, it is in three parts. The first part is the acquisition part of real estate, when you are acquiring the real estate, and there are a number of technologies there. The next part is when you're operating the real estate, and again, there are a number of technologies there. And the last part is when you are disposing of real estate. So you are either selling it or you are letting it out to a tenant. And again, there are a number of technologies there. So if I look at the first one, this is basically development. In the building construction, of course, there are, of course, the project management software tools. There's a project, sharing. There is document management system, and all that cover that issue of development. When it comes to operation, I can just give you a clue of what we do in Tysons. Operation is basically what we call property management and running the property. And for this, we have a particular software which has got a very big capability. The first thing is that it has got, communication portal. So clients can actually log in through their client portal, and they're able to interact with us. They're able to see the status of their work. Yeah, and it also deals with issues to do with accounts, e-procurement. It also allows us to capture all the information in a document management system built in the same. So if you look at the other part, which is now the disposal, and this is actually the larger part where we interact with the majority of external agents. When we have a property coming in, the first thing that we have to do is to inspect the property. Yeah. And of course, inspecting the property, you'll need to use quite a number of tools. Yeah. For example, you'll need to use Google Maps just to help you identify the property, locate the property. Yeah. There are tools that you can use to take notes when you're in the field. And all these tools, some of them are available. We can talk about Google Keep. It allows you to take notes while you're at the field. And when you come to the office, it's all captured there. The other part is now the listing. And I think this is where BuyRent plays a major role. And I want to say that BuyRent is one of our major partners when it comes to marketing of our properties. Yeah. So when it comes to that particular area of marketing, it starts with the listing. So when you have instructions to list a property, what do you do? Yeah. And the first technology that comes there is definitely your own company website. Yeah. And company website is not adequate. And that is how we reach out to our partners like BuyRent and so many others, yeah, to enable us to cross-list our properties. Yeah. And the way it works, when these properties are cross-listed, the enquiries would actually be delivered to our end in real time. Yeah. BuyRent would actually send us the particular leads that have been generated in real time. Yeah. And so it is quite interactive in the way you reach out to the market. Yeah. And of course, what we know is that at the moment, the way you look at it, you would even find it very difficult to pass a business card. You know, flyers in the street. You know, no one wants flyers anymore on the street. Mm-hmm. You give out your business card, nobody wants to carry your business card, and that is now where technology comes in.
Okay.
Just to talk about our back office, once we receive these particular leads, the most important thing is to account for each and every lead. Because if you don't account for it, then you're just running part of the business and not the entire business. So we have software that allows us to capture the lead, and it tracks the lead. The first thing is that it will tell you that the lead has come. After 24 hours, you get a notification just in case you had forgotten to follow up the lead. And it will keep on reminding you about the lead until such time that you have answered that particular lead and given the right information. Other marketing tools that we have used, of course, these are standard marketing tools. Yeah, Facebook, social media, we've basically used all that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. And just to add on to what Stephen was saying, you know, as part of the CRM tool that comes within your package, the training is also free, and we can do this training virtually as well, because we have the tools to do it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see, Stanley, let me ask you a question. You see, we can see these tools are here. We've heard from BuyRent Kenya. We've heard from Tyson in terms of how to incorporate them in a business. Can you say a little bit more about, because some of these require maybe even governmental policies of use, because we're getting into, as we increase technology, there's also, what do you call it, data protection. That is, a lot of people are asking for different controls. So there's some yin and some yang inside of this. There's also, we know there's some drone issues that may be coming on board. Can you maybe tell us about how ready are we in terms of from a policy or a governance, or from our infrastructure that's ready to do a lot of these things that that higher level technology incorporation is going to call for?
Okay, so as we have heard from what Tyson is doing, it's the same with some other companies. We're getting that most of real estate companies have these in-house softwares that they're incorporating into their operations. But you see, one thing with our industry, it's heavily dependent with the government operations. You know, the Ministry of Land, the registry, you know, the planning departments, the county offices, you know. But then if you get into this situation where the private sector is ready with a tech product, but then the public sector, where the private sector is dependent, is not yet ready, it will create a certain disconnect where the technologies that we're actually implementing won't actually give us the maximum productivity. And that's why I usually insist that we need to create a data infrastructure, especially with our ministry. Because if I speak from a evaluation standpoint, from once you receive a evaluation instruction, the first thing you're supposed to do is go do a search. And if that process of doing a search is still backward, paper-based, you're going to the registry, you still have a long line to go obtain a search, you know, that's some kind of hindrance to us laying down a foundation for technology to thrive. And also agency, you know, in as much as you have in listing portals, but then the agency sector isn't that structured where where it will keep off people from scamming, because we know there are a lot of con cases, scam cases being happening with the online platform. And that is why I usually say that the government should come on board, the professional institutions should come on board, especially with agencies. We all know all agents, their records are being listed by the Institute of Surveyors of Kenya. But what have they done to actually create that infrastructure for technology to thrive within the agency department? So I think the government has a big role in this, in incorporating technology. And if they do not do so, in as much as the private sector starts to implement this, we will be making very baby steps into our digital transformation, and we won't and we want to be seeing the maximum productivity that this technology is actually offering to other markets out there. So the thing is that we have to set a data infrastructure which should be aided by the public sector. The professional institutions should come on board. All the our industry is kind of wide, where we have architects. The architects are there. We have the quantity surveyors, the construction managers, the agencies, the surveyors, the valuers, and these sectors all work independent of each other. But the one thing is that we are all in the same industry. So I believe these guys should just come together and see how we can lay down an infrastructure so that we can implement. Because if you look at the building life cycle, each and one and every professional is included, whether from the market study side, design, construction, to the disposing of the property, that either selling or renting, management. All of these professionals are on board in a building life cycle, and this one we should come together so we can lay down the infrastructure. Because if we don't lay down the infrastructure, these innovations can't thrive that as much as the way we want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much. So Lizzie, I'm going to bring this back to you as a leader, as BuyRent Kenya being a leader in the sector. And maybe you can tell us, what are you doing? What is BuyRent Kenya doing to call on the policymakers, for one, to do some of the things that Stanley has just said that are essential to be done?
Right. So some of the things we're doing is like partnering with various institutions and organizations, thought leadership, really here, putting down and actually, for example, addressing the Data Protection Policy Act and within the real estate sector. For example, BuyRent Kenya has a whole lot of data, which we ensure that we do this through all our opt-in campaigns, that people actually have given us the mandate to share their personal information with us. And this is definitely protected because we are practicing under the Act. We're also working in conjunction with various law firms to see how can this policy be enacted through all the online businesses where we actually extract this information from. Yeah.
And what would you need? What do you need from, what do you need from practitioners, your clients? What do you need from us to support you and amplify what you're doing? What do you?
I guess advocacy through having webinars like this, talking through your blog articles, teaming together, having such events online, and actually writing about them. So we sensitize. From the top down, bottom up, we're sensitizing everybody through this industry and bringing all the expertise together and getting government endorsement with through this as well, government support through the various bodies.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Let's see here. Sorry, he said something. Let's see. Stephen, I suppose are you with ISK? Are you a member?
Yes, I'm a member of ISK.
Okay, wonderful. And I know that there's been, with ISK and real estate agents trying to harmonize with each other's role. What do you think about, how do you think the way forward is in terms of laying that infrastructure that Stanley talked about a moment ago, in terms of the whole cycle? I think that was brilliant. How can we streamline our interactions and our processes throughout the whole cycle? What do you see as a way forward, or what are your thoughts about that?
Okay, I will not talk basically as a representative of ISK,
Yes.
but as a member of ISK.
Yes.
So as ISK, there is so much that can actually be done. There is so much that has already been done. Yeah. In terms of communication between members of ISK, I can say that the communication is perfect. Yeah. When it comes to representation of members to local, decision-making bodies, that is already done, and ISK is doing a good job. When it comes to lobbying for issues when they come up, particularly legislation, again, ISK is doing that. So maybe the other part that ISK can do, and they can do this in a better way, is to enable a platform that would allow the agents to interact when it comes to business. So if I have a property that I am letting, then every member of ISK should be able to see that particular property. Yeah? And with that, it makes it very easy for me, because I have the landlord, and any other member could be having the tenant. Yeah. And then in the process of sharing information, and also sharing in terms of any kind of commission that comes up there, it allows all the parties to play a role in this. Yeah. That will certainly shorten the time that is taken to sell a property, because as soon as I shoot a property into the system, all of a sudden I have in excess of 1,000 agents who are also working for me. If somebody sends something out, more than 1,000 agents have access to that. So technically, it shortens the period that we take when we are disposing of a property and when we are letting of a property. That is the part that ISK now may need to focus on in order to bring the members closer, in order to make transactions move very fast. Yeah. And basically, it will enhance the business that the members are undertaking, and also the welfare of the members. And that can only be done through technology.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. Let me ask a last round of questions, if you will. Let's see here. Stanley, somebody is asking, Linda in our chat is asking, I think we've mentioned some free technologies. Do you have any, they're asking, do you have any off the top of your head, any video, VR, any tools or technologies that you think are out there that people off the top of your head? So how do we use VR? Are there tools for that? Are they doing, she didn't say that specifically, but she's, I think Stanley said there, I'm sorry, Stephen said there was some free technologies in addition to paid ones. And not a CRM, of course. We want people to take up BuyRent Kenya on the CRM, but are there other technologies that are out there that people can easily find and use?
Yeah, they are. But then when you talk about free technology, free tech, I don't think is there. All of them come at a cost because, this tech is not something that has been there, it's something new. So I don't think there are that are free. But I know some companies who are doing virtual tours. I think it's a company called 360 Tours, if I'm not wrong. We have Matterport, which is also offering that same service. Yeah, and also if you're dealing with real estate research, we have Microsoft BI that can help you, integrate the whole data that you have, that you can be able to optimize the information that you have, so that you can be able to give informed decisions. Yeah, so these technologies are there, but they come at a cost, So the only thing is just you have to identify which technology actually suits what you actually do, and that's where, like my brother Stephen was saying, that we lack the skills gap, the qualified personnel, people who actually know the tech side and the real estate side. That's what we lack.
Yeah.
Because if we had people who knew both fields very well, this transformation will just be as smooth as possible. Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me, Lizzie, as somebody else also mentioned, Eva in our chat, she also picks up on what Stanley said a moment ago, that that technology, people are used to technology. That's not new, I think. But in our sector, there is a unique challenge that may cause some hesitancy to, on the buyer side, to fully onboard the use of technology, reducing being able to see people face to face for a transaction, and that is the scams. That is the scams that people are dealing with. That's going to be that's being interpreted as a big hindrance for us to fully move into that. I don't know if you have some. Don't want to hear any horror stories. I bet we all have some to share. But what do you see as how do we curb this, or how do we, on the buyer side, how do we enhance the confidence on the buyer side that there's some credibility or validity in the use of this technologies?
Yeah. So on BuyRent Kenya, we do have. We do vet all our listings. We do have a particular department that actually goes through the moderation. Look, this is, we try to get 100% right. You will always find somebody that will have a listing online, looks perfectly okay, but what happens after the lead has contacted the agent and goes behind the scenes through the transactional side is what we can't control, because we're not a transactional company. But we do try to vet the leads. We do try to vet everything, including all the listings that are posted and the agents that post with us. We do put out a buyers beware list of do's and don'ts on our website that can be found on our website, how to curb on the fraud. And if there's any fraud at all, we blacklist these numbers as well. But unfortunately, we can't really take care of the transactional side of things because we're not actually there. But never ever pay someone in advance until you've either physically seen the property for yourself and validated the paperwork.
Okay, so that's an advice to the buyers, which this is probably mostly the people that are trying to connect to the buyers. So what would you tell me as an agent, Tyson or Stephen, to have them present themselves in a way that gives more confidence? So maybe I can ask Stephen to say that, what do I do in the virtual world that presents myself as confident, as somebody that's credible? What does a business person in this sector do?
Thank you, Robyn. Professionals are actually registered experts. So the first place to check whether somebody is authentic or not is to go to the website that is hosted by the professional organization. All registered estate agents are registered with the Estate Agents Registration Board. Mm-hmm. So by simply logging into the Estate Agents Registration Board, you'll be able to see the names of all the registered estate agents. So if somebody is not registered there, the first thing that you would ask the person, is to tell you his credentials. What is the registration number? So if the registration number is not there, that tells you that that person is not a registered estate agent and is not qualified to provide the service. All these qualifications are actually mirrored in all our websites, all the professional companies, they mirror this in their website. When it comes to valuation exercise, again, valuers are registered by the Valuers Registration Board. So if somebody's name is not there, then again, that person is not qualified to undertake such kind of a service. And I believe all the professionals are registered the same way. So the way to provide information about your authenticity is just to link what you're saying, your online presence, and your online presence must also be validated by registration bodies. There is not much that you can do to convince somebody that you are not fake, but it is the person himself to verify after you've tried your best to explain and to bring basically your operations and the way you conduct your business. So after doing that, that is the best that you can do. But then you can guide that particular agent to the professional websites Yeah. And if they're able to find your name there, it actually just increases the level of confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank
Just to add on, Robyn, just to add on to what Stephen's saying, also at BuyRent Kenya, for the agents that are posting with us, it's now mandatory to provide your KRA PIN number. And if you have a certificate of incorporation for your company details, so that you can list and everything is verified on the site. Yeah. Not sure if we've lost Robyn.
Sorry about that. This is, again, technology is, even in our chats, we're seeing several participants saying power outages are affecting their being with us. And so I'm feeling it also. Okay, so thank you, Lizzie. I did hear the finishing of your statement. Thank you. So let me just do a final statement, if you will. So in the second poll that we had, and we're going to be closing here in less than 8 minutes, 25% of us said that one of their major challenges was incorporating building technologies or technology into their business. And then 75% said that they are having challenges or would need more expertise, development, training, knowledge in increasing leads and converting to sales. So that's what it sounds like, what our respondents are. We are up to almost 90 people, again, still participating with us. And so I want to just pick up on Stanley's comment and what he said here earlier, is that PropTech is exactly what the two words implies that it is. And it requires that there's a deep knowledge in the property sector first, if you will. There's a deep knowledge in the property sector first, and then you take every step of that process, every step of that real estate process, and then seek out tools, methods that utilizes technology to carry out that delivery or that process in the real estate sector, your real estate business. And I just want to point out, in our book, the Building in Kenya book, it is a book that's a step-by-step guide on the real estate business or the building development process. And you want to take that step by step and translate it, just as Stanley said, into technology. So we make that available. So if there's anyone, your clients or your customers, who want to really understand that process, we invite them to get that process, the book also, so that they become knowledgeable in that, and then translate that knowledge into a technological delivery method. And so with our parting shot in our last comment, I started at the beginning and with asking, and this is going to take some taking off your business hat to respond to this question, everybody. I asked you, who do you think, or where do you think the challenge really lies in the incorporation of technology? I really, so this is going to take off. This is not going to be the politically correct comment. I really want you to look at, what in your experience, where do you see the real challenges lying? And what do people need to overcome to step into this new future now? We don't have time to wait. The plane is boarded. We are in this new future now. So let me just go around the room. I'm going to start with Stanley because he's out there and he's been doing this and he's been proselytizing this for a long time. Stanley, what do you see as a real challenge, and what's it going to take for us to really take off?
Okay.
Just 1 minute, please, if you don't mind.
Oh, 1 minute. So I'll make it short.
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah. So we have a lot of challenges, but I think the one major one that trumps all of these challenges is the human aspect. In as much as we'll say that the market isn't ready, the market is opaque, there's not much of a data sharing ecosystem, but then I think it's us who are supposed to drive the market. So this whole thing, with all these challenges, I think the major problem is just us. If we overcome and we decide like I think this is now the right time for me to reinvent myself as a professional, to now become tech savvy. I think if each one and every stakeholder involved has that mindset, I think we'll push this whole incorporation forward. In as much as we're talking about the different challenges, but it all starts with you and I. If we all change our mindset, if we all driven into this whole transformation, this whole thing will just be moving smoothly.
Okay, wonderful. Great, thank you very much. Lizzie?
Yes, I agree with Stephen. We are definitely a people-oriented business. So I think losing that personal touch and person-to-person is something that we all have to get through. Technology can actually bring us together. You see families meeting online nowadays. There's more WhatsApp. We're more in it together. So if you're not on BuyRent Kenya to showcase your properties, then you're missing out, because that's one way of growing your brand and reaching out to potential leads from the audiences that we attract onto the site. And we're here for you. We were here for you before COVID. We're going to be here for you during COVID, and we're definitely here to stay after COVID. So reach out to us at buyrentkenya.com.
Okay, great, thank you. And Stephen?
Thank you, Robyn. What I can say about adoption of technology, the most important thing is that you start from where you are. Already we have so many communication tools that are available. There is Facebook, there is, we have Google. Yeah, you have all that technology that is available. Some of us are in LinkedIn, some of us, we do all manner of things. All these technologies are there and available. We have emails. WhatsApp has come up and now it's interrupting the way we, the time that is expected for us to respond to emails. Yeah. You don't have the luxury of waiting until you go back to the office. You just start from where you are. As you upgrade your business, then you can incorporate technologies that now you will need to pay for. Yeah. I'm not very sure whether BuyRent provides what I would call a free version, but there are so many other technologies that would start with a free version, so many other CRMs, then you can upgrade to another platform. Yeah. Okay. And that is what we do in Tysons, because we didn't just start from from one big technology. We started small. Yeah. And we have just been upgrading it from one technology to another, just small. Then at the end, you consolidate everything.
Okay, wonderful. Great feedback. Great interventions from everybody on the panel. So I want to thank everyone for being here. Lizzie, thank you very much. Stanley and Stephen, thank you so much for being here and providing your insight and your input on incorporating technology in your real estate business and moving your building business online. I want to thank all of you that have joined us today. Thank you for tuning in. We hope that you're taking away something that you can use today to say, I'm going to jump in on this. Stephen said something very important. Just start small. Start with a small incorporation, and it will build on and build on and build on. On behalf of my co-author, Emma Miloyo, and myself of Building in Kenya, And BuyRent Kenya, we thank you all for tuning in for the first webinar. We invite you to tune in to the next one, which will be on the 5th of June. And there we will actually be addressing that question, Linda. And how do you translate your business and translate sales and using technology? So tune in to our next webinar on June the 5th. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, everybody.